Hello. Are you a scapegoat who has gotten away? Have you gone no contact? Have you taken all the steps to take care of yourself? If you are the scapegoat who's gotten away, I applaud you. It's never easy for the scapegoat. For most, I would say 80% of scapegoats. I've seen some comments online that it's like no problem for people and they never look back, but most of these individuals are empaths, and it was hard. It was hard to walk away. I'll speak for myself. Hard to go no contact. Almost impossible, it felt like at the time. And as an empath, if you are a scapegoat as an empath, odds are you took on the stuff that wasn't yours, right? You felt everything around you. You took on things into your own body, into your space. And that action is reflective actually in the Bible, in Leviticus. There's a scapegoat in the Bible that's released into the desert in the Old Testament with all the sins and impurities of the community. So the goat was designated to be cast into the desert to carry away the sins. And if you've gotten out of your situation and you've extracted yourself from an unhealthy situation, then know that you no longer have to take on any of the sins of the community, so to speak, sins, emotions. Maybe you're the one that was trying to buffer someone's anger, someone's volatility. Maybe you're a buffer for a parent. Maybe you try to always be the peacemaker. You no longer have to do that. And that could be a huge relief for a lot of people once they stop doing that, right? But Dr. Ramani has a great talk I want to put in the show notes. And it's very encouraging. And I just want to say my interpretation of all things scapegoat and narcissistic personality disorder is, from my experience, is really spend some time to digest these concepts, because what I find is the treatment of the scapegoat is textbook in the world of psychology. And it might not make things easier, but knowing that you can start to see the patterns of human behavior and start to maybe stand up for yourself more, create better boundaries. Knowing that human behavior oftentimes is textbook. And that's very helpful to be like, okay, I'm not going to personalize this, but I'm going to take care of myself and have self-respect. Dr. Ramani states also in her video that like the scapegoat gets the worst of the narcissistic abuse. And because of triangulation, narcs will often recruit other members of a family system, perpetrate more abuse against a scapegoat who over time becomes a punching bag for the family system. So the scapegoat is subjected to criticism, mockery, humiliation, rage, sometimes physical forms or other abuse. And that person, the scapegoat walking away, brings out the shame in the narcissist in the family system. So they abuse they can abuse the scapegoat even more. And she went on to say, like any cult, others get pulled into the narcissist, pulled into their schemes of the primary narc, and following what they're saying without any question. So, right, we know that cults will follow something without questioning it, the leaders, or without questioning the group. And Dr. Ramani says that can happen in this dynamic. I'll say for myself, the hard part of the experience of no contact is that some of the narcissists have gone to great lengths to spread lies and cover up their own crimes against their own children. And as Dr. Ramani states, the narc will go to great lengths to shame the scapegoat. Certain members of my family are trying to play on a mental health concern, which is lies and falsehood, and accusations of me like that I should come to my senses, and name calling about mental health diagnosis that I've never been given. It's really a textbook example of what people with NPD, narcissistic personality, might do to avoid shame and not looking good. As Dr. Ramani states, the shame turns into rage. And I've been on the receiving end of bullying and rage, sadly, from a family member who's a flying monkey in the family system. And if you don't aren't unfamiliar with the term flying monkey, go ahead and look that up. You'll find that quickly. The wild thing for me was to witness this sort of textbook transference of, like, quote, coming to my senses from one person who was actually a hoarder. And we all know that hoarding is a mental health issue. So, questions for you all is like, when you look at mental health in your own family, does your family have, say, a gambling problem, drinking problems, or other problems? Maybe agoraphobia, panic driving, panic doing simple things, a lot of fear. Like, it's all relevant to your documentation if your experience is highly accusatory. So once you go no or low contact, be prepared for anything. I'm speaking from my own experience. From what various therapists discuss online, it's never positive. These individuals will do whatever it takes to make a person look bad because they cannot cope with their own shame. And narcissists really want to operate in the dark. So when things are called out, they will do whatever it takes to get back at that person for bringing darkness into light. As a person of faith, a Christian, it says in Ephesians, pay no heed to the fruitless works of darkness, but rather expose them. And sometimes we do expose people intentionally and unintentionally. For me, it wasn't coming from like a bad heart. It was just coming from speaking my truth. So if you are the scapegoat, you're in this desert, that like the Hebrew, like the old biblical text of like wandering the desert, have you found your tribe? Regardless of the stage you're in, be sure to have some documentation based on any threats you received. If you think it's relevant, see a local therapist online or in person to discuss the matter and document your case. Other things you might do is keep a journal of dates, talk with a friend, join a group therapy. If one-on-one is too expensive. I know Patrick Teahan has a great community online. He has a big YouTube channel. You can also participate in a community, your local community or place of faith. Volunteer when you have time, either regularly or for one-off events. The other thing I really enjoy is keeping a gratitude journal and reflect on the good things in my life. You can reflect on like, oh, I had this positive human interaction today with these individuals. It was brief or was long. It was really nice, and reflect on that. Because that gratitude can really create more of those positive experiences when we're acknowledging them. And then finally, as Dr. Ramani stated, she's like, when leaving does happen, a narc has to find a new way to regulate. And early on, accusations can go, I guess, for a while. She said, text, email, social media. The scapegoat has to be really steadfast and willing to block as much contact as possible. If the scapegoat can be resolute and not snap back, the narc will eventually have to find a new target. So if you've left an unhealthy situation, stay strong. The decision is enormously painful for many, as I know it was for me, and equip yourself with knowledge with the psychological patterns and behaviors, because you will see it is indeed textbook. And the knowledge may bring, the psychological framework can help you come to better grips with the past. At least it did for me. And as Dr. Rami said, you do absolutely deserve better. So go after it. Go after it hard if you're in the early stages. Go after some of these things that will improve your life. Thanks for listening.